Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith, and today I am talking about The Hungry Ones, Book 2 of the Messy Man series by Chris Sorensen. This is from Harmful Monkey Press. Gotta love that logo. And as I said, this is a continuation. This is Book 2 of the Messy Man series. And in this one, our action takes place at the Crossroads Motel on the outskirts, it says here, the outskirts of Maple City, in the not too distant past. There was a mass murder at this hotel, and now Jessie Voss has purchased the hotel. She wants to reopen it. She's doing all sorts of renovations, and the Larson family shows up about a week or so before the grand opening, but Jessie decides to do a soft open and lets them stay, and weird, crazy, spooky things start happening. And that's your nutshell for The Hungry Ones. I keep wanting to say The Messy Man, but that's the third book. Now, right off the bat, the first book in this series, which was called something, The Nightmare Room. I reviewed that when it came out, and that was back when I was originally doing reviews. This book came out during my hiatus, so I had read it, but not reviewed it because I wasn't doing reviews. Well, now I have the third book in the series, and so I figured I better review this before I review that one. And this is very much a trilogy that needs to be read in order. The events of this book are absolutely a result of the events of the first book. I think you could read one without reading the other. Like, you could read this one if you haven't read the first one, but it's going to lose something. And if you're going to read both or all three, you definitely need to read them in order. But let's actually talk about this book and Chris Sorensen as a writer. I really loved the first book, and I really love this one. Excuse me. Chris Sorensen as a writer is really, really good at creating characters. I loved the characters in the first book. I love the characters in this book. They're all well-rounded. They feel real. The dynamics between characters, between people that have known each other for a long time, between people that have just met, all feels real to me. And for anyone who watches my videos, you know character is very important. To me, I think it should be to anybody. I mean, you can have stories with shallower characters if they're just going to be cannon fodder, but the best books have well written characters, and Chris Sorensen is very good at writing characters. And his other strong point is writing the spooky stuff. He can write a scary scene. And in here, there are plenty of scary scenes. Now, we've got some violence. He does describe that mass murder. That's how the book starts. So we're starting, a couple years in the past to see this sort of triggering event. And then once the hotel or the motel, roadside lodge, whatever you want to call it, once that's almost ready to open and people actually start staying there and sort of, things are awakened, we get some really, really spooky scenes. People encountering strange things. And, as always, I don't want to give too much away, but after the Larson family's there, someone else shows up with a bag full of something. I don't want to tell you what it is because it's really cool and it's really freaky and scary. And you should pick this up and read it to find out what the hell I'm talking about. And these aren't this book and the previous one are not your typical, say, haunted house or haunted building kind of things. Chris Sorensen also likes to play with time. Not only are there just flashbacks, you flashing back and forward within the story, but the characters actually move through time as well, not in your typical linear fashion that we are all moving through time, but back and forth. And he does it in the first book. He does it again in here, and it adds to the weirdness and the atmosphere of the story. Excuse me. The Larson family, great characters. Loved them in the first one. Loved them in this one. And the Ellen character, the sort of medium, for lack of a better term, from the first book, is back in this book, and the star of the third book. Love her character, and I can't remember her last name right off the top of my head, but she's a lot of fun. Actually, I could look. I'm going to reach over here. I'm not going to show you the cover. We're going to save that for its own review. But the nice thing about the third book is it has a little synopsis of the first two. And so I'm going to try not to be too boring here. I am going to take a quick look and see if I can find the name of the character. And I'm going to talk like this as Ellen Marks, there it is. That didn't take too long, did it? Yes, Ellen Marks. Loved her character in the first book. Loved her in the second book. Love that she's the star of the third book. You'll find out more about that soon. But anyway, yeah, have I covered everything I want to cover? I know I'm being vague, but again, I hate to give anything away, and you really should read these books. It's been a while since I read the first one, but I assume I gave it 5 out of 5 on Goodreads. And actually, if I reviewed that back when I was originally doing reviews, that means I had the whole picture review. I'll have a link for that at the end of this video, and we can watch it together, because I'm going to have to go back and watch it and see what I said about that one. It had to be 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5 that I gave it. And I don't know that I was on Goodreads or doing the keeping up with Goodreads when I read this one. I would assume it's on Goodreads that I gave it at least a 4 out of 5, if not a 5 out of 5. I really like this stuff. I'm hoping now that the Messy Man trilogy is finished, even though this is only book 2, keep that in mind. We're talking about book 2 here. I'm hoping Chris Sorensen keeps writing and comes up with something else, because I really, really enjoy his writing style. Again, the way he does characters, he does spooky very well. So, The Hungry Ones, The Messy Man, book 2 of the Messy Man series, highly recommended. Pick up the first one. Pick up this one. I'm not in the middle of reading number 3. I'm only maybe an eighth of the way through. Just started it. So I can't tell you if you need to pick up that one yet. You'll find out in a week or so after I've finished it and recorded my review. But definitely pick up the first 2. Great spooky reading. And I love these covers. They're all very similar. First one's up on the shelf. Didn't pull that one down, but it's got a similar cover. But I like just the splash of color in this one is really nice. So that's it. The Hungry Ones, book 2 in the Messy Man series by Chris Sorensen from Harmful Monkey Press. Highly recommended. So if you have any comments, questions, corrections, please put them in the comments below. We can talk spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning because we try to be polite here at the Low Budget Review Show. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I think that's all I've got this time. So this has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith. And until next time, read more books.